investor for 30 years, consulting for as many years, coaching businesses for the last 15 years. I started a mentoring program about 5 years ago to be able to connect leaders and trusted advisors together. And I just had a session with that prior to this as well. The opportunity, of course, with this is to bring to a question, what can I glean from this? What do I learn from this? Get it. Culture doesn't have to just be with large organizations. Culture would probably be with the minimum two people. One person is probably not a culture, but two people might be a culture. And I deal with small businesses, which might be one person to 100 people. And there's always a culture when you intermingle two or more people. I think they come with different values, beliefs, identities. And together we work together with our behaviors and our skills to do something worthwhile. And I think, as Marge says, do we start with the purpose and the vision and mission? I say no. I say most organizations start with how do we behave, what skills do we need, and what do we do? And then they go to purpose, vision, and mission. So for smaller organizations, that seems to be the norm because they're more in survival mode. So my question for everybody else is, what do you glean from this? What is the value that culture brings to you, to your organizations, and how do you show up? Here's what a toxic culture is, and that is that they're out of alignment. Very simply, they're out of alignment. And what does alignment mean? Well, you have your purpose and you have your people. And in between, you have an alignment process that doesn't stay consistently aligned. In fact, if you look at the example of Microsoft, they were aligned at one point until they were not. And that's because their vision and their purpose was an old purpose. It didn't fit anymore. Put a computer in every desk. Okay, we got that. And then it became out of alignment. So a toxic organization is when they're out of alignment. And here's the discovery I've made, is that a business, a company, or an organization, whether it's two or a zillion people, are going to be out of alignment most of the time. And I'm thinking the 80-20 rule, they're going to be out of alignment 80% of the time. Why? Because of the diversity of people, because of the complexity, the external situations, because it's a moving, breathing organization that has to adapt continuously. And if it doesn't adapt continuously, they get out of alignment. Those lucky few, like Microsoft, get into alignment until they're out of alignment. Or we call it toxic. Toxic is such a toxic name. I like alignment or misalignment. We're all alignment. I'm not toxic, but I probably am at some point. But I like to think I'm out of alignment most of the time. That's just being human. And as humans, we comprise an organization. And as an organization, we're out of alignment most of the time until by chance or luck or the right leadership, we get into alignment for a short amount of time, a short amount of period. Then things get out of alignment. That's why we may need the same leader or a different leader to bring us back, or the same people that are able to somehow figure this out and get clarity. Get clear. Oh, we're out of alignment. What do we need to do to get back into alignment? We either need to behave differently, get better knowledge or skills, or change our purpose or vision or mission and adjust accordingly. Out of alignment. And get rid of this toxic nonsense. All of you are coaches, and as coaches, we're taught about why. Simon Sinek says starts with the why, and I believed that for a long time. Until my client said, I know my why. I want to make money. I want more clients. I know my why. I've got a problem. I don't have enough clients. I don't have enough money. That's my problem. And so they struggle with taking time out to think about the why, the purpose, the vision, mission, because they are having problems now. So they need to solve the short-term solution, the short-term problem with a short-term solution, so that they can address the long-term aspect. And a purpose, vision, mission is long-term. It's you have to be at peace. You have to have revenue. You have to have the time to do that. But most businesses are struggling to get to that. Culture is one of those. It's not the only thing, but culture is one of those. Culture is a symptom, or the culture misalignment is a system of where the problem is. The key is to uncover where is the real challenge to put the business in alignment. So what I've started to do is approach with a client, not with what is your big why, what is your purpose. I could ask that and they'll give me a fluff answer. They'll give me a fluff answer because they haven't thought it out through. But if I ask them, what is it that you're experiencing right now in the next 2 weeks, in the next month that you need to address, they'll have a lot more clarity about that. And once we can address it and have some discussion, some definition, some questions about that, then I can at some point address it, have a strategic plan to take care of the tactics. So once we have the tactics, then we go to the strategy, the strategic area. So once we have this, then we could say, and I did that today, where exactly are you going in 2 to 4 years? All of a sudden, they could get more clarity. I want to be in this position with this revenue, this many clients. So it's the sequence that we ask. They're both important, but it's the sequence. And I'm starting to start more with the short term to go to the long term, as opposed to when I used to start before, is the long term. Well, what's your vision and mission? And they're thinking, I don't have time to think about my vision and mission. I've got a problem right now. So we want to address where the clients are at the beginning. And I think that's probably true for small companies and also the large companies, because I lived through that situation of watching Microsoft struggle with a CEO that was not effective, and they brought in Satya, I believe is his name. I watched them struggle. I didn't know the answer to that, but I know they were struggling. They were losing to Apple. They were losing to other organizations. And I'm thinking, well, it must be a leadership problem. Get rid of the leader. And then when it happened, that was it. That was the solution. But it's what he did to adjust and align the organization that became effective, not just because he was a different leader, but because he realized that they had the wrong purpose, the wrong vision, mission, and they started to work cohesively. And that's the behavioral aspect. You work cohesively. That's tactical. That's not strategic. You work cohesively, you get better learning, and then redefine who they are, their identity, which change their beliefs and their values. And all of a sudden you can see the organization culture shift. And the results is that you get back to alignment. You just have a lot of fun in an organization that's achieving their goals, has a lot of meaning for the group and the individual, has clarity, communicates well, our beliefs and values are aligned, I'm useful, the contribution that I make brings about tremendous result. That's a lot of fun. I want to belong to that. And that's because we're in alignment. You get out of alignment, the same organization will have disruption, but you still need the other pieces. You need the right leadership. And this goes to the people that are running the organization to be able to be open, ask questions, be able to understand that this is a very fragile organization that at any time could be out of alignment, and we have to be nimble enough to shift our vision and mission. Those are much more flexible.